Hello everyone, my name is Relax and Panic.
And I'm Most Lifeborn.
And this is another reaction to RWBY Season 6. And you know what to do, as always. If you want to see the reaction itself, just go down into the descriptions, follow the links, replace the circumflex dot parts with real dots, and enjoy. Once you've done, come back here and hear us out about this episode. So, see you soon.
Let the discussion begin.
Exactly. For those that came back, welcome back. Discussion time. Or comments, whatever we want to name it. I mean, I just, while we were checking for a picture, I was checking for a picture which we have in the background. Here. So, and I was like, what was in this episode? And I was like, there's just, for me, in this moment, only this moment here, the teaching about the Silver Eyes.
Well, I mean, there is also, the conflict with Slash, Oscar. Ospin,
whatever, yeah. Os.
And of course the conflict, or if you want to,
in the
beginning, yeah. I mean, this was kind of comedical, yeah. And I was really not. How could you take this serious? With
parts.
With their movement, with their outfits, with how they acted.
Yeah, let's start there. Okay, so there are three things. We have the military base moment. We have the
reveal moment.
No, we have the moment reveal.
Yeah, where they got basically the reaction to what they did, the story.
Team Juniper, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Team Juniper versus Oscar, and we have the lemon tree.
The teach.
Exactly. So those are the three big things. So military base. I am pretty sure that those two characters, the two soldiers, because they look clearly not like a typical soldier from Atlas. The uniform is completely weird, and this heads, what the heck. I'm pretty sure they are a homage to some characters. And I know that Rooster Teeth has, as example, a series Red and Blue, something like that, I think. Where it is about, they look more like Halo soldiers there, I think. But maybe it's something like that they're referring to. Or another series they have. I'm pretty sure, we don't know it. So I guess it is a homage to some characters we are just missing. And this over-the-top acting, this comedic relief is possibly due to that.
For me, it was more to lighten up the... If you just imagine this whole situation to be more serious, what kind of tone it would give to Atlas. That was in my head while I was watching it. If this wouldn't be so over the top, you would just be, this is a fascist.
Oh yeah, I see.
This is a fascist behavior. If this would be in a serious tone, not comedic, think about it.
I would say military, but not fascist.
How they presented that they are always not that they are the best, that they are the gift to everyone, that they are basically blamed, and that everyone wants to cut their throat.
So you are already at the little woman there.
Yes.
I was still at the two soldiers because they are clearly not. They are just Humpty Dumpty, you know.
Yeah, for me it was more like the general beginning at the space situation. I was not
sure if you take into consideration the what is it called, commander of the base, I guess.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure she's someone who is who had problems in the military, that she possibly jumped on some toes and she was sent to this base to be away from Atlas. And I think something like that was mentioned even in the episode, that I think Maria said something like that, and then she was upset. But I might be wrong. But I can see that she was like sent off to the outside post no one wants to have, although it's a big one.
I didn't understand that I didn't get that she was sent there or like in a sort of exile. But I mean that Maria mentioned that she got upset because something of what Maria did.
Yes.
So that was the point. And I mean, for me, what it was at first, they are kind of frenemies, but...
Yeah, wasn't it? It started off a bit like the first comment to each other, you know?
Yeah.
She-devil stuff. It felt a bit like, okay, but there's a respect there, maybe?
It felt a little bit like frenemies, yeah.
But then she completely blocked, because if there would have been frenemies, she would have given an option to pass. She would have said something, and Maria could have mentioned something like that, you know? Okay, let's get serious here. This time it's important, something like that, but there wasn't. So it's a bit weird.
For me, it was just, this is the over-the-top loyalty we have to expect from people from Atlas. I mean, we already saw this in the past. I mean, even Schnee was very loyal until her, or before her character development and her storyline.
Yeah.
So we can basically, or this is probably how we have to expect them to then be treated by the people of Atlas when they will go to Atlas, if this will happen, and which I'm
not sure about the people in general, but the army clearly has a very strong foundation in Atlas, so there will be more militaristic vibes in the whole of the country.
I also agree that they probably will not. Everyone will be like that, but everyone who is in the military or in the aristocracy, or however you want to call the higher society, which we mostly saw until now. We barely saw anything from the, I call it, lower classes or poorer people from Atlas.
We did not see at all anything from Atlas. We just saw this high class party. We saw the mention of the Weiss family, and we saw a little bit of military, and that's it.
Well, we also saw some kind of history that they used the faunas as slaves and stuff like that.
You know, Word of Remnant, you mean the information.
Yeah, but basically we know that we don't know the current state, basically. Yeah. And we also know, okay, I mean, even Ironwood was very strong-headed, very stubborn.
Yeah. But I think this commander we have here is even a bit over the top there. So she is, because she interpreted everything that was said as an attack on Atlas. Yes. RWBY tried to be polite, tried to be charismatic and kind of argue friendly. And whatever RWBY said was instantly even then taken as a negative thing. So you are saying we are not strong enough. She never said that. It was just what the commander heard, and that's a problem. So it's clear they will not get through this base. If there would be someone who would be a bit more relaxed, who would be listen to arguments, then they would have a chance.
Who of Atlas who was ever presented had that kind of quality?
Oh, yes, we had. In the tournament, those the girl with the incredible with the skates, with rainbow effect, and the trumpeter. They were from Atlas.
They were from Atlas?
Yes, because that was, I remember, so you're from Atlas, so what do we have to expect from a team from Atlas? They asked Weiss, and she said military and very clear focus, and then this team appeared. So there are people like that. We just haven't met them very often yet.
That's very true, but from all the official sides I have not seen any different. Right. They were all like, we are in the right, you are in the wrong, no matter what you say, we are stronger.
So, but we know that even in this society there are the birds of freedom, to say so. So people who are very vibrant with color, as we've seen in this tournament. There are people like the butler from the Schnee family who does the right thing. You know, the Seven Dwarfs guy. So maybe. However, in this space, it looks like no chance. So this is now where we are going. We're still waiting for the option of using the wife who works in the tower. I guess that will come in handy. But there it just ended. And as we've seen, Nora ran into this commander before, so...
I mean, this was clear. Okay, for Nora it was fitting that they were both headbutting. That was clear.
So then we had Crow being Crow as in the last episodes, which is a bit sad because he really, really falls more and more down. But it's, I mean, Rooster Teeth tends to stretch those things out. We would normally, that's why we are arguing about it. Normally you would say someone with the knowledge of Crow, with his experience, someone with the knowledges of Team RWBY who have had other stuff in their past, would normally, they would have a moment of doubt and of weakness, that's okay, but then after a day or so they would be like, okay, well, let's not stop here, let's go on. And Rooster Teeth is stretching it out a little bit, but they had that in the past as well.
I'm also a little bit disappointing. I mean, that they didn't come to the idea, hey, just because you can't defeat her maybe, but we can defeat her. It's also a matter of wording. This is kind of disappointing because this just lowers and weakens their characters, and this is not necessary, and it hurts a bit.
I'm pretty sure that they will get this idea. They will get over the problem with Crow. They will reacquaintance with all of these things will happen because we know that those characters are able to. And that's your point. It's just that they will do it later, and thus you have to question their intelligence, their morals.
You have to question the development they had already. That's what I like. Okay, you had you have to make certain steps and to develop certain abilities and so on. But this feels like a repeat. Like they've already been there. They don't need to go through that again. That's more the thing of I would have wished for more. Like, okay, we have, if we can go down to the, it's linked. Therefore, if you, for example, go now for the Silver Eyes, this is something new. This is a development she didn't had before, where it makes sense that she goes there. And I would have wished for the others, or in general, that this would be the direction instead of just repeating a character development they already had.
That's a writing thing. I think it's not a character thing. It is, in my opinion, a writing thing from Rooster Teeth.
Well, of course. I mean, the characters are a writing thing from Rooster Teeth.
Yeah. So, second scene. So we have, and that is a complete repeat, in my opinion, the scene with Oz. So Team Juniper gets informed about what transpired, about the revelation from Jin, about the history of Sailor Man Oz, and that she cannot be defeated. So that was, and the reactions were the same as Team RWBY had. So I don't think we have to discuss much about that. They kind of used Jean as a repeat of Crow. Initial forceful attack on Oz, just like Crow did, and then running away. And in Jean, you could see he knew that was wrong.
Yeah, but this was the most disappointing thing for me.
Yeah, because he was always the emotional one.
And
right.
he was the empathetic one. He was the one who already lost his love. He was the closest to Ozpin.
But maybe that's why.
No, but this is how could you empathize the most to someone who just lost one he loved the most.
Okay.
And they go through the troubles of after that and the feeling of loss. And that's why I thought, hey, Jean would have been the one who is the most empathetic and the most sympathizing in this situation and who would back up RWBY.
But here we have to say we don't know what exactly they said. If you would have seen this, and there we are, you could have pushed John as being the empathetic one, the one that understands, maybe the one that Oz could relate to, if he would have been in the original vision and did see this loss moment. And then you would have him standing there, you could have made him as a symbol that he in this moment remembers Pyrrha. And as a viewer, there is an understanding, and he could be the one in this whole storyline who then says, hey, I lost someone too, you're only seeing the negatives.
He could be the backup for Aspen.
Yes,
and which would be very needed in this situation, in my opinion. This would even be good for the whole dynamic, that they don't have to again go through this, that Ozpin is leaving.
Yeah.
This is again the next repeat, which was like...
Yeah, they're just turning the screw one more.
Yeah, it's like, why though? This is
storyline and writing. In general, by the way, just saying, when we are rumbling like that, it is on a high level. I am very happy with this show and with the writing in general. I like how the story is developing. It is just that there are those things where we are like, the characters are better than that. As we all know, that if you listen closely, it is all about that the characters are not as clever shown as we all know they are. We know that RWBY is clever enough to say, wait a minute, let's not get in over her head here, let's talk this through, as she tries. And we know that the other characters do the same, especially someone like Crow. I mean, he's not so stupid.
Feels like it really feels like they go backwards. It's like, okay, we go
in the emotional development, yeah.
Well, in general, in the development, like to become... Yeah.
I mean, that's a bit meta now. But the question is maybe, I mean, Rooster Teeth has over the years accumulated more and more viewers. And the newest season is always like a fresh start with new viewers. So they always possibly see an option, what if we get new one? And if you have finished characters, there's no development for new viewers. Maybe that's why.
I just don't see that they are finished with the development. I mean, there is currently so much room where this could go. Also in the sense of that, okay, let's say Crow is completely destroyed by this and actually be able to be turned. Maybe he joins his sister, who we have not seen since.
Yes, as many other characters.
Yeah, but she's quite important.
Yeah, sure.
So, there are still many possibilities, in my opinion, where this could go without having this retreat of character development for all of them. The thing is, okay, that you have a character falling down. As for example, Crow, where I can see, okay, there is an addiction. There is his backstory. There is his feeling that he is a bad luck charm. So, okay, I'm not happy, but I'm still seeing, okay, this is something which could happen. But for example, for other characters or in general, that it's so a general thing in the group. That's the thing which grinds my gears.
I think what would help here is a technique to use. If, as example, after they came out of the vision, the reaction of everyone, or especially of Crow, you would have him like standing there, and then you have like a short memory of his that we go into his past, and a moment or two where he talks to Ozpin, and you have this Ozpin promising him all is fine and seeing one or two of his losses. That this is reflected why he is getting angry in this moment. So, because we don't know what happened. They may bring that in later on, but then it's too late, you know? Right? It is nice to have past then, but it feels right now like, why are you upset? And that's, we take Crow as a general here. It's for every character.
For me, it would have even been more realistic if Crow just would have turned around without saying anything and just appeared.
Yeah.
And did not show up, and everyone was like, where did he go? And it's like not known, because this would fit even his character better. You could have even speculated then more, okay, is he more disappointed? Is he looking for a way to actually solve this? Does he just need an alone time to progress what Oswald said? Even that would have been even more feeling closer to the character than to rage out, to reach out, actually. Just like for Jean.
But let's end it there. Let's talk about the disappearing of Oscar. Because it's clearly Oscar that disappeared. I'm pretty sure it's not Ozpin.
Yeah.
He did hide. So Oscar was attacked physically the second time without being the one that made the mistake. He was questioned again if he knew that before, and it was kind of said like, you knew that before and you, Oscar, lied to us, you did not tell us. Although RWBY stood in for him and said, hey, that's not fair, you know? This feeling, this moment is like, those people don't trust me anymore. I think that's it.
And especially nobody went between them physically.
Yes.
That's where I was like, I already talked about Jean's reaction, but let's say someone would attack their friend. No one went in between them physically. He grabbed him, put him to the wall, screamed at him, and they all just stood still.
Well, they 2 or 3 shouted, but he only reacted when RWBY shouted, and then he just walked away. So that's one thing. But what happened next? Nora just went by, not saying anything. She's like, I will go up, you know, like that. So there was no, he did wrong. There was no comfort towards Oscar at all. It more felt like she agrees. And Ren then turned and said, we will all need some time, I guess, and move away. And even that is not a comfort at all. So no one stood in for him. No one told him it's not your fault. No one gave him any option. And they all left purchasing stuff, as we know, and RWBY went outside. So, and he's alone there. So what do you think in this moment? We can't forget he's a youngster. I mean, he is a young boy still, who is thrown into this whirlwind of events.
Without having a choice.
Without having any choice. He left his home, he left his aunt, it was, right? He had this strange being in him, which he now, by the way, everyone learned about negative stuff. He knew some stuff, but I don't know if he can see the complete past of Oz. I'm not sure about that.
I don't think so. But they are not fully joined souls yet, so they're still kind of individuals. That's
so he learned there, hey, by the way, you and the thing in you are told to keep remnant happy while the gods are gone.
Especially, I'm the basically I'm basically the same person now, and now it's my task and my duty too. So this is.
I did not ask for that one.
Right. You're right. This is a very big responsibility.
The burden just got bigger in the last episodes for him, and then those who helped you with this burden before are now kind of again either neutral or against you, and you're like, I'm lost, and the one that should be with me in this, Oz, just hides. So what do I do?
Where do I go? Sad. It's just really, really sad.
I wouldn't be. I mean, it would be fitting, but I don't think he will do. If he would go back to the farm. I mean, this is a place where he is safe, where he knows things, you know.
Either that, or he goes probably into some. Oh, I think he's currently not able to fight enough yet without Ozpin.
Yeah.
So to be alone in the wilderness is dangerous for him.
I agree.
So even traveling alone right now is not that easy.
Where can he go? I mean,
that's the thing. Where could he go?
The military base will not let him in.
Or he actually, and this would be a character development, that he actually tries to find a solution. That he is not going back into the farm, because this would again also fit again in the theme we currently discussed with the going backwards in the development, but that he would go at least forward by, hey, I'm not defeated this time, but maybe I need to find the solution myself. And this could be maybe also the point where Ozpin and Oscar are joining, in the sense of that their soul, or however you want to call it, becomes a unit.
What I see as an option, and I think they will go with this, is that he goes for Crow. We had that in the past. I mean, when he was merged the first time, he went for Crow and told him, "Hi, I'm Ozpin." And there is this relationship. And even thus, Oz is not there. There's still Oscar who is there. And Crow always was the teacher, the one that looked out for the younger ones. So maybe he will go to Crow and try to talk sense him in, which is a dangerous thing. As we know, Crow was just, forget that, I'm off. But I see that as an option.
It would be a positive. It would be a positive that he is, if he is trying to go back to the farm, it would be disappointing. If he just tries to do anything to go to Crow to find a solution, to contact, I don't know, whoever he maybe knows, this would still be a way forward for this character.
By the way, something development-wise, which would be completely surprising, because possibly no one expects, is if he would try to go back to the farm or anywhere and he would die. That would be, that would be a kick in the face of everyone in this show. Because it is, I'm not sure if Oz would come out right now to defend him, because he's reborn, It depends on how pissed off he really is. But even if, let's say he would die, Oz will be reborn. We know that. But it would be something character-wise, development-wise. Every of those characters would have to swallow the fact this boy died because you did let him down. You blamed the boy, the vessel that carries Oz, for things that he did not do, and he ran away.
I don't
think that will happen. I just say that would be a harsh one.
But this is very. I don't see how this would fit in, kind of. And I don't think it's very realistic, because Oscar until now didn't had any wish to die.
Oscar's pretty had any wish. I'm talking about going back. He is a very clever one. So we will see. I don't know.
For me, it is okay if they join, because every soul seemed to have added something to Oscar, to Ozpin. That if he could be the new fresh courage, because this is what we had in the beginning of Oscar, that he didn't have a lot of courage and that he was very afraid of things. So that this is his change, that he recognizes that he is the courage actually, which will be added to Ozpin, which gives them a new point of view in how to solve this, and maybe get the idea, okay, maybe this is why I'm like, Ozpin is basically an ancient being. He is wise and knowledgeable as someone can get in this situation. There is currently no living being beyond that.
Sure.
And he did not come to the solution that this is maybe a wording thing.
That would be an interesting thing. Okay, yeah, I see that point. That would be interesting if it would be Oscar who is like, by the way, cool. So, third scene, which we have here. Sure, one thing, as we all learned now, lemons grow in winter in this area.
Yeah, obviously.
She has reflexes.
And butterflies are in.
That's, as well, right. She has reflexes. That's her ability, her quirk. Nice. For a fighter, a really good thing. No question there. So your fighting abilities are way above everyone else's. So, and it's a passive one. So you don't have this one-time things that others have.
She also has it outside of fighting, so.
Yes. All the time. She learned from her father about the silver eyes, so that it sounded very much like her father. She even said, the powers we have, it sounded like her father had silver eyes as well. And they even came up with this idea that if this is so powerful, why does no one know? Maybe we are hunted. The idea that Salem lets people hunt Silverite warriors.
And that it's an ability given by the god of light, which is kind of logical when she was talking about it. Even before she said it, it sounds like, okay, this sounds like the opposite. So it's a weapon against, basically.
It was from the
darkness.
time when the god of darkness created the Grimm just to... I mean, the Grimm are kind of... feels like they are created by him to show off to his brother, hey, I can create stuff too. And this stuff destroys your stuff. So like that.
But weren't the humans... created by both
and
of
that's
them?
Exactly, very good. And that's the interesting thing. So what I have to question here is, did they agree on giving them this ability, Silver Eyes, or did the God of Light like sneak that in just in case?
In the beginning, for me, it just had the feeling that the God of Darkness was in his pool of darkness, however you call it, and there where the Grimms were born of. But the Grimms were not roaming the world.
They were more in this area. Yeah, they were stuck at his home.
Like his subordinates or whatever you want to call it. And that they just started roaming when their god was leaving. For me, it felt more like they were confined, because you didn't hear about any war against Grimm. The people were only fighting against each other.
We have the episode where Crow talks about the God of Light and Darkness and how mankind came to be. And in this time, he mentioned that the God of Darkness created the Grimm. And we have the intro of episode 1 of season 1, where you even see mankind and the Grimm coming from the outside. But I would say this mankind is a second mankind. The first one seemed to have lived on this planet without the Grimm interfering, because they lived with both brothers. So, thus they both agreed living there with mankind. Why should they release a Grimm on them?
Right.
You know? So, I agree there. The Grimm were around those pools who birth new Grimm from time to time, as it seems. That's right. And now they're roaming everywhere. So still, when creating mankind, he snuggled it in. And we had the discussion about how the second mankind came to be. If it is by evolution or how that happened. The God of Light said, they will reappear. They are not gone forever. So either there is like a timer they set, and then it's here, Adam and Eve, let's go. Or it is by evolution, and they knew that evolution would tick that way. But if we see that they have the ability of Silver Eyes, it would mean that the God of Light snuggled into the DNA, something like that.
Well, for me, as the evolution thing is, I think about this. Let's say just from one day to the other, a few humans, no matter if it's by evolution or by the Adam and
divine
Eve,
intervention.
It shows up, and it's just a few of them. And there are Grimm, they would be basically immediately be killed.
Yes.
So I think this is just the thing, okay, that the Grimm were not even a threat for them at the beginning, but when they were started to roam remnant, that they were starting to get closer and closer to their territory until basically what today happens between animals and humans.
Yes.
That there comes to conflicts because they are...
Same area they live in.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So,
and the more humans you have, while they grow in number, the more emotions, the more the Grimm get drawn into them.
Right.
So that kind of made sense. When you have a village of, I don't know, like 10 people, and the Grimm are everywhere, they will possibly not care about this village. There's not much emotion. But as soon as you have a city, or you have hundreds or thousands of people...
even if the Grimms are far away enough, then they will not...
Yeah, they will not realize
that there is...
So... But they had the Silver Eyes, so, and it is like specific families, specific bloodlines.
It seems to be genetic.
So, so we know that Summer Rose, the mother of RWBY, had Silver Eyes, so it's clearly from her side of the family. We now know that Maria and her father had Silver Eyes, so it doesn't matter mother or father, both sides can have it. The question came to me, is Maria having kids? Because and as far as I know, she didn't, so they succeeded. Another line of Silver Eyes is wiped away once she dies. So she, knowing of this, still did choose not to have any kids. I mean, she was in an age where we've seen her as a Grim Reaper when she lost her eyes, where she possibly could have had a relationship and everything. We know that she hid all the time, so possibly this destroyed her abilities to have a family, because she was always moving away, making sure not to be found as being the Grim Reaper, being afraid they would hunt her still. But that means there were other bloodlines with that, and they are exterminated, many of them. There still will be 3 or 4, I guess. somewhere.
I'm still waiting for some kind of storyline when it will be told when they were created, I would say. Like with this gift, when the God of Light gave the gift to whoever.
Yeah.
And
possibly
why.
one ancestor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most likely.
And the thing is now, if you're so determined of destroying something specific, like Silver Eyes, that has to say something. Sure, you don't want Silver-Eyed Warriors because they are able to defeat your Grimm. Talking about Salem here, right? Right now it's her Grimm. She is able to use them somehow. But that brings in the question if this Silver Eyes may have an effect on her. She is partially Grimm.
I mean, it already had an effect on Cinder, so this is already answered for me. It would have an effect on Salem.
And that's it. That is where the question is.
And that is where the solution comes in.
Exactly. The unbeatable Salem becoming beatable. Not meaning of being killable, because that would disprove gods. And as we know, the moment you disprove God, universe ends. Just makes no sense. I mean, the gods said you cannot die, and as long as this world turns. By the way, if they have a machine in Atlas which stops the world spinning, you can destroy Salem. Just saying. As long as this world turns.
Oh boy.
It's a matter of wording.
Oh boy.
So, but what I guess, and we talked about that already, is that possibly somewhere in seasons, RWBY with her Silver Eyes will be able to kind of burn away the Grimm part of Salem, meaning that she will become the blonde version again, before she was in the pool, and thus losing her inner force by darkness to destroy.
I think she will become kind of a burned version, to be honest, because if you see that, the thing is, the Silver Eyes are not removing Grimm. They destroy the Grimm part. And if you see at Cinder how she turned out, the parts of her who were Grimm, basically how they turned out, they basically got charred, burned and stuff. So I think... I have
another theory. You have no idea.
Yeah, please.
Let me lead to it. What does RWBY's eyes do?
Turn to stone.
Exactly. So when she attacks Cinder, Cinder will be turned to stone. She still is immortal. She's not dying because she's still living as a stone. And RWBY is Medusa. It's fantastic. As long as Cinder has no mirror, everything is fine.
But even if she would have a mirror, what should this do to her? Because it's only affecting Grimm.
For those of you who know the Greek fairy tale.
I'm kind of not following this theory.
But I mean, just in theory, it would be, just by wording, it would be okay to turn her into stone because she's not dead then.
Yeah, but this is not always happening. But Cinder was not, her hand was not turned to stone, or her...
That's right, she got burned there, right. She got burned. Well, I mean... Even Maria mentioned that she mentioned 3 versions of what happens. So you vaporize them. We have seen that with the apathy that were just gone. You turn them into stone, which was like the dragon, and Maria turned one of those things into stone as well. Or you can burn them laser eyes, you know. So the question is if you can like control which version you want. But that is high level stuff. We're in the basics yet. So you have to want to defend the people you want to preserve life. And by preserving life, you're the counterpart to destruction, and thus you channel the light of the God of Light. That's the idea. And yes, I see that. She wanted to, a little bit too late, protect Pyrrha. She wanted to protect Blake. Maria has already learned how to use it, so she just remembered the ones she loves. She wants to protect. She can put
herself in a state,
and that's the thing.
Like she said, to teach her to be in this state of mind to
and
use
I think
it.
that is something you can learn even without Grimm being around. You just have to remember specific emotions, specific moments, feelings, family members, and once you think I can switch into that, then you can go try and search some Grimm.
It will be a hard thing, though, to do, because if you're in the middle of the fight and you are not used to it, then teaching with fire, right? Learning through fire.
Okay. I think that's it. We discussed quite a lot again. As always, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. And we will see you in the next episode. And until then, my name is Relax and Panic.
And I am Most Evil Lifeform.
Goodbye and out.
Bye.